The 2026 World Cup final, Sunday, MetLife Stadium. Spain are the champions. But the story doesn't end there. For millions of fans, there's a feeling that the result was decided by more than just the players on the pitch. The tournament felt tainted. The story felt pre-written, and the final seemed less like a clash of titans and more like the last chaotic act of a month-long haste that ultimately failed. With Spain lifting the trophy, the case is no longer about a stolen World Cup, but a foiled one. To understand why, we have to look past the final whistle to a tournament that many believe exposed a dark truth about modern football. This was supposed to be the dream final. Lionel Messi, in his last World Cup match, leading the reigning champs against a brilliant Spanish squad. It was a story that should have written itself, but yet a shadow hung over the entire tournament, a suspicion that brewed throughout the knockout stages. The debate wasn't about tactics or formations. It was about fairness. It was about a pattern of decisions that led many to believe that FIFA had its thumbs on the scale. The story of this World Cup wasn't just about amazing goals. It was shaped by controversial calls and questionable VAR reviews. Argentina's road to the final was incredible, but it was also followed by accusations of favoritism. To see the full picture, we don't start in the final. We start in the round of 16 with a match against Egypt that became Exhibit A. The match against Egypt was a 3-2 thriller that went right down to the wire, with Argentina staging a dramatic comeback from a 2-goal deficit. But underneath a classic football battle, the seeds of controversy were planted. The first major piece of evidence, according to critics, came when Egypt thought they had a commanding lead. Mustafa Zico found the back of the net, a fantastic goal that should have put Egypt firmly in control. The players celebrated, and their fans were ecstatic. But then came the VAR check. The on-field referee, Francois Letexia, was called to the monitor to look at an incident that happened in the build-up. The final decision: no goal. The official reason was a foul by an Egyptian attacker on Lisandro Martinez way back in Argentina's attacking third. Experts and fans immediately cried foul. The debate exploded online. Was the foul even part of the attacking possession phase, the specific window where VAR is allowed to intervene? To many, the goal should have stood. Instead, Egypt's momentum was crushed and Argentina was thrown a lifeline. After the match, Egypt's coach Hossam Hassan described his team's exit as unfair and unjust and accused FIFA of wanting to keep the defending champions in the tournament. Striker Mustafa Zico, who scored twice in the game, flat out called the tournament fixed and directed to Argentina. Was this just sour grapes, or was there a pattern? Critics point to the numbers. In that game, Argentina committed more fouls than Egypt, but finished without a single player getting a yellow card. In contrast, the referee handed out 5 yellow cards to Egyptian players in stoppage time alone, effectively killing any chance of a late push for an equalizer. This wasn't just about one call. For many, it pointed to a culture of leniency that gives one team an edge. The Egyptian Federation was so incensed they filed a formal complaint with FIFA. In a twist that felt almost scripted, the game was decided just moments later. Enzo Fernandez scored the late winner for Argentina, completing the comeback and sending them through. One moment, a potential clincher for Egypt was wiped away. The next, the World Cup dream is over. The sequence was so sharp and so consequential, it's left a bitter taste for many. The aftermath was a firestorm. The hashtag VARgentina trended worldwide. Social media was flooded with memes of Messi as FIFA's princess and images of FIFA President Gianni Infantino smiling, with captions suggesting he was happy to have successfully taken out all of Messi's competitions. Of course, officials circled the wagons. Argentina's coach Lionel Scaloni brushed off the claims as social media noise, and FIFA's powerful head of refereeing, Pierluigi Collina, issued a firm denial, stating that unfounded allegations have no place in our sport. But the evidence, from the controversial disallowed goal to the lopsided card count, painted a picture that fueled the fire. It wasn't necessarily about some grand secret conspiracy, but about what looked like a deep seated bias creating an uneven playing field. And that brought all eyes to the man in the middle of the final. With the world accusing FIFA of favoritism, their choice of referee for the final, Slovenian Slavko Vincic, was under immense pressure. Vincic already had a controversial past, having been detained during a police raid in Bosnia and Herzegovina in 2020. Though he was released without charge, his history with Argentina was also a talking point. He was the referee for their shocking loss to Saudi Arabia in 2022, the only World Cup match they had ever lost with him in charge. The final was a brutal, cagey affair. It took 120 minutes and a single goal from Spain's Ferran Torres to crown a new champion. But the game will be remembered for its controversies. Vinci's whistle dominated the match, but not in the way Argentina's critics expected. Right from the kickoff, Argentina came in hot and aggressive. It's only a miracle McAllister was able to avoid any booking. Leandro Paredes was lucky to only see yellow for elbowing Rodri and then shoving Dani Olmo. The chaos didn't end there. Argentina's Enzo Fernandez was sent off late in normal time for a second yellow. In extra time, Spain's Nico Williams put the ball in the net, only for Vincic to disallow it for a supposed foul by Mikel Merino on Nicolas Otamendi in the build-up. Replays showed minimal contact, leaving the Spanish players furious and viewers wondering if the script was still being written. The match ended in an ugly confrontation, with Paredes receiving a straight red card after the final whistle for grabbing Spain's Eric Garcia by the throat as players from both teams clashed on the pitch. It was a bitter, messy end to a tournament defined by controversy. Instead of a coronation for Messi, the final became a testament to Argentina's frustration as the narrative they had ridden all tournament long finally fell apart. In the end, Spain lifted the World Cup trophy. Argentina did not steal the World Cup from them, but the victory felt less like a celebration of the beautiful game and more like a sigh of relief. The controversy that began with the disallowed goal against Egypt followed Argentina all the way to the final, casting a pall over every victory. The final itself, a chaotic mess of cards and disallowed goals, felt like a fitting end. Spain are the champions, but the question remains. The fear that haunted this tournament, that the biggest decisions wouldn't be made by players, but by officials, was realized, just not with the outcome everyone predicted. The failed heist of 2026 leaves a bitter taste, a warning that even when the right team wins, the echoes of controversy can become the defining sound of a World Cup. But that's the case. Now, we want to hear your verdict. Do you think the tournament's integrity was compromised, regardless of the winner? Or is this just the kind of high-stakes pressure that always creates controversy in a World Cup? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives into the stories that really shape the game, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss what we uncover next.